Hi everyone, welcome to this CFA seminar from EduPristine. Uh, Before we begin with the seminar, just a quick update, like if there is any issue with the audio or the video, just let me know. We'll try to fix it right away. Otherwise, we'll begin with the seminar in a couple of minutes. All right, so let's begin with the seminar. I don't see any issues with the audio or the video. So today's session is going to be all about CFA, what the qualification is, what all topics you study, what are the eligibility criteria, some job profiles that open up after doing CFA qualification. So all of that is going to be in focus for today's sessions. So what we'll do is throughout the session, I'll be covering various things. And if at any point you have any doubts or queries, you can just raise your hand. I'll give you the mic access. Or if you don't want the mic access, what you can do is you can type your query in the Q&A section and I'll try to answer it. So if you want, you can type. If you want the mic access, I'll give you the mic access. Just raise your hand. Let's begin. So right away, the first few things we need to be clear on is what exactly is the CFA certification. So CFA certification is the Chartered Financial Analyst offered by CFA Institute. Only one institute across the world. So just one institute, you don't have multiple institutes like a lot of other professions have, due to which you get global recognition. Because there is only just one institute, one single qualification or one single charter certification, it holds true across the world. There are a lot of other professional qualifications like doctor, lawyer, or chartered accountants for that matter. All of these have limitation in terms of where they can work. If you're a chartered accountant in India, you can do the work in India, but you can't do the same work in US unless you get certified there as well. But there is no such restriction for CFA because there is one global body. It also has a lot of scope, particularly in the finance and investment sectors, because CFA is sort of the apex financial certification that you can have. So this is topmost financial certification in terms of your knowledge base. So a lot of people do MBAs and a lot of other graduation, post-graduation qualifications. But in terms of sheer knowledge that you will have exposure to and that you will gain expertise in that scope, CFA is entirely unmatched in the industry of finance and investments. It gives you a certain bit of career advantage, primarily because as we see that right now itself, we are in the midst of a pandemic. But as the economies all over the world, they start to recover slowly, financial sectors are really going to go back to their full strength and even might be bigger than what they earlier were. In fact, throughout the initial phase of the pandemic, if you noticed, the stock markets were the only thing that were operating during the lockdown as well. The stock market didn't close for a single day. So the financial sector is sort of at that level where it keeps going. And as the economic recovery picks up pace, there are going to be more and more career opportunities. And CFA becomes that qualification that really makes you suitable for a job in this profession. Another big advantage of CFA is that you get practical skills. So this is something that I can attest to. So I have been a visiting faculty with EduPristine for over 2 years now. But from my experience, both as faculty and as student, so I cleared my CFA level 3 in 2019. So from all of my experience, what I can say is that this is one of the most fun exams to give, because it's not like our graduation exams or other exams where we have to study the core material 5 or 6 times, reading the same things, trying to cram a lot of things. Rather, CFA Institute is not interested in your cramming capabilities. They are more interested in your decision-making capabilities, which is one of the reasons why Most of the complex calculations that we do in graduation or in CA and other courses, over here we just do them on the calculator. CFA Institute is not bothered with you knowing the steps of the calculation. That is not the point of concern. So as such, the course in terms of its design is a very meticulously crafted course, very professionally crafted course. And I am saying that as someone who is associated with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and also Institute and Faculties of Actuaries. So as someone who is associated with three different professional bodies all across the world, I can definitely say that CFA's curriculum is one of the best designed curriculums out there for any profession. And the best thing that you get aside from studies, of course, is the community. So this is something that in the more recent, like last 6 to 8 months, it has mostly been an online community. There are no events or stuff happening, but under normal circumstances, which would shortly resume in a matter of a year or so, when you register for the CFA program, irrespective of whether you are registering for level 1 or you have cleared all 3 levels, the good thing is CFA Institute does not differentiate between anyone. If you register for level 1, you are part of CFA Institute. So you gain access to the local societies. So CFA Institute is based in the US, but India has its own society of all CFA members. And that society conducts various events all across the country. Sometimes there are events in Delhi, sometimes in Mumbai, sometimes in other cities. And there are also online events. You as a student of CFA have access to the entire community. All of those events you can attend. So a couple of years back, it often used to happen that a lot of students used to go to those events and they would often interact with a lot of people with 20, 30 years of experience. So that sort of community building is very big part of your CFA profession. And of course, right now we have this pandemic, so it's all online, but slowly as the thing start getting back to normal, we'll start having those events once again, and you'll be able to interact with the senior professionals of the industry. So as such, the good thing is that it's a community which is treating everyone as equal, as sort of an equal opportunities. Moving on, today's seminar, we are going to go through three major things. The primary focus of the part of seminar that I'll be covering is going to be about CFA program. I am, as I said, a visiting faculty. So my role here would be to clarify all of your doubts about the CFA program. We will go briefly about EduPristine and all of those details, but for the concrete details of fees and all the other things, at the end also, I would be suggesting that you contact whoever your local center coordinators are or the sales coordinators are from EduPristine, because they'll be able to give you a little bit more concrete information about different programs being offered by EduPristine. So let's start with the CFA program itself. The first thing we have to discuss is the eligibility. So CFA program has 3 stages. You have level 1, level 2, and level 3. Now, all the people who register for the CFA or who go through the CFA journey have to take this entire route. This is unavoidable. So some of the common queries that I often get is that if I already have chartered accountancy, do I get exemption from certain levels? No. If you have finance PhD, do you get exemptions? No. No exemptions for anyone. CFA journey will always start from level 1 and it would go all the way to level 3. Now, first thing is, what is the eligibility for you to sign up for level 1? So there has to be certain criteria that you have to fulfill so that you can register with the CFA Institute for level 1 exam. As such, there are 2 major criteria. One is you should have a passport. Now, having a passport is one thing, traveling abroad is another. The eligibility criteria simply says you should have a passport. So for the exams, you don't have to go outside India at all. The only reason why they want passport is because as an institute is conducting exams on a global scale, for them, it is easier to take the passport as an ID proof. So when you go to the exam, Passport is just your ID proof that yes, you are the person who registered for the exams. If they went ahead with other documentation, it would be a big hassle because they are covering like over 150 countries. So it doesn't make sense. So for that reason, they have passport requirement. So you will need a passport because this is the only valid ID proof. Aside from this, you have to be a graduate final year student in the very least, which means if you've completed graduation, all good. If you haven't completed graduation, you should be in the final year. So these are the two requirements. Now, graduation, there is no restriction from CFA Institute. You could be doing graduation like engineering, you could be doing graduation in medical science for all we care. CFA Institute is not bothered with that. Any graduation is acceptable. You just have to be in final year. Also, there is no restriction whether the graduation you are doing is for 3 years or for 4 years, whether it's a full-time program or it's an open university program. None of that matters. Just graduation, final year. That's all that's needed. So any type of graduation is acceptable. At level 2, the restriction changes. So the first thing you need for level 2 is, of course, you should have cleared level 1. And aside from that, you should have completed your graduation. So at level 1, you could register for the exam even if you were in final year. But for registering the level 2 exam, you should have finished your graduation. That is the only sort of restriction you have. So you can only appear for level 2 after you have completed your graduation. And level 3, you can give after you have cleared level 2. So that is sort of the only restrictions you have. Now, after level 3 also, the CFA journey is not quite yet complete. After this, you get what is known as a charter. Charter is sort of a degree or certificate that yes, you have completed your CFA certification. Level 3 and charter is separated by something known as work experience requirements. This one. So even after completing level 3, you don't become CFA immediately. Rather, the CFA Institute would expect some work experience from you. Now, keep in mind, if you already have a work experience before even appearing for level 1, even that could be considered eligible. So CFA Institute would decide on a case-by-case basis whether your work experience is eligible for certification or not. So there are no set rules that, okay, this work is acceptable, audit is not acceptable. No, none of those rules exist. Sometimes even audit work has been accepted. And in some cases, some roles have even been rejected. So it is something that Institute will decide on a case-by-case basis. So all of your professional work experience, whether you did it before registering for CFA, during level 1, during level 2, level 3, all of this combined, you need somewhere around 3 to 4 years of work experience. Once you have this work experience, then they finally give you your charter and tell you that finally you are a CFA Institute's member. I'm stressing it again, this 3 to 4 years of experience. This can be at any time, even before you register for level 1. Maybe you are someone who's been working for 2 or 3 years in the finance industry, and now you want CFA qualification. Your previous experience could also count. So it is something that CFA Institute will decide. And it doesn't mean you have to work for 3 or 4 years after level 3. At any time in your professional career, your work experience counts. Now, one of the common doubts that a lot of students have is the difference between level 3 and charter. Like if you want a job and you don't have work experience, but you've cleared level 3, what is going to be the difference? Are you going to get the good jobs that a CFA professional would get? The answer is that the difference is hardly 5 to 10%, both in terms of job profiles and in terms of salary packages. So the industry also recognizes that getting a charter after clearing level 3 is just a matter of work experience. So the difference is not very big, that a lot of students have this myth that if I clear level 3 without work experience, I would become overqualified or my qualification would go to waste because it's not going to be useful. The difference is only very minor. Sawan, the experience can be in any field finance is something that has historically been preferred by CFA Institute, but as I said, it is something that they will analyze on a case by case basis. So sometimes even non-finance field people have had their experience count as relevant. Sometimes even the finance field roles have been ignored. So it depends, and it is something that only the institute can give you the final judgment. But it should preferably be within the domains of finance investments. And when I say finance and investment, I'm saying the broad domains, not just restricted to stock markets, but broadly financial work. Harinder, the profiles or the jobs that you'll be getting, we'll discuss them as we go along. So I hope that would clarify a few things. Whether you have experience of back-end or client-based jobs, uh, if it's in the financial domain, it could be considered relevant. It doesn't matter whether it has to be client-based or back-end. Both are acceptable. But again, what I am saying in this particular case is just my opinion. The final decision would always be institutes, and they don't have any hard and fast rules for that. Gautam, yes. If you pass level 3 and you already have existing 3 to 4 years of experience, that CFA Institute considers as relevant experience. They say, yes, this is correct. Then you can immediately apply for charter, and immediately after passing level 3, you can get your charter. I have Gautam, any other doubt? I'll give you mic access.
Yeah, now it's clear.
All right.
Okay. Okay. That means if I have the 3 to 4 years plus experience, whether I am CFA after immediately passing the CFA level 3, then I can use the CFA.
Yeah, so if the CFA Institute deems the experience to be relevant, then yes, there is no restriction that from level 3, the moment you get your level 3 result, you give your details of work experience, and immediately as they say yes, the next day you can apply for the charter. So there is no
And
restriction of time in between.
and one more thing, work
Yeah.
experience must not be the from the relevance finance or accounts background. Any
Uh,
background.
it it is very subjective, and only CFA Institute can answer that, because sometimes even
Oh,
accountancy experience they have considered relevant.
acha.
In some cases, some finance roles also they have not considered relevant. So this is something that they will analyze on a case by case basis. They don't have any set of rules that only these jobs are relevant and these are not. So they don't have that bifurcation. They normally judge it on a case by case basis. So it is again one of those things that I, even if I give you a definite answer, it would just be lying. So I
If
can only
so,
say
no,
it
me
could be.
one minute, please. If so, then after suppose non-background finance guy, after passing his CFA level, agar after that, if institute evaluate that he is not according to their criteria, it's not counting as an experienced guy. So how could he use? What is the benefit of passing that? Have
Normally
you got
for
my?
each level we have different sort of jobs that become open to you, so we'll go along it as we go along the further seminar. But normally what happens is level 1 is sort of introductory entry level jobs, level 2 is slightly more specialized, and level 3 opens you to portfolio side of jobs. So as such, the qualification, the clearing of exams is going to give you a lot of knowledge to be able to take up a job in finance if you don't have any sort of financial background in your previous qualifications or work experience.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
If you don't have a passport, you should apply for it. Ruchika, CA articleship of 3 years. Sometimes audit work is considered relevant, but the chances are very low. So I'm not saying impossible. You might get lucky.
Mr. Shubham,
Yeah.
for the better clarity, in brief, in summary, that suppose a guy who is working 10 years work or 5 years past experience in different background, not
Yeah.
the finance, not the accounts.
Yeah.
Suppose he is working as a HR people,
Yeah.
human resource department.
All right.
So he got admitted himself in the CFA and completed all the 3 level.
Yes.
After that, whenever he will apply for his certification as a CFA, I will uh, after my name I will add CFA. Then institute will consider him as a or applicable, whether he can use it or not, because he
So
already
like
did his
that
course.
is one of those legal restrictions that CFA Institute places, that you can only put CFA if you have a charter.
Okay.
So after clearing level 3, you can state that you have cleared all 3 levels of CFA. And
Yes,
the job market and people also, as I said, it's hardly 5 to 10% difference, because everyone recognizes that you have pretty much done all the academic level work.
that's the thing. That's the thing I am asking about.
Yeah, so it's
I
only
have
5 to
already,
10 difference,
whatever the
5 to
relevant
10%
experience I
difference.
have, that's not factor, but I have completed all the three level.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
you syllabus you have designed here, so you must give the access to use the CFA. It should be like that,
That is
according
something
to.
that CFA Institute can decide. It's not something that I can make a decision on.
No, it's not about you, but they should have very much specific that this arena people should not come here for the CFA. That would be better. No,
Why? Finance as an investment, as an industry, is open to all. Why place a
that's
restriction?
that's good. That's good.
It is an unrestricted. And for the syllabus also, like I'm a faculty, so often we have engineering students also, and they
Oh,
often come with the slight bit of, scary background that we don't know accountancy and stuff. You
yes,
don't need to have any accountancy finance knowledge for CFA. I
good,
said it in
good.
the first slide itself, that the syllabus is one of the best designed course curriculums that I have ever come across, and I do mean it. So the only thing is, if you don't have finance background, you might have to spend a little more time within the CFA syllabus than someone who has. Aside from that, it's not difficult at all.
Okay, okay, fine.
Yeah. Kishore, the time gap between level 1 to 3, we'll go over it in the coming slides. Harsha, clearing level 3 and charter, as I just said, time gap between that, it depends on whether you have the eligible work experience or not. If you have it, you can apply immediately, or you'll have to wait till you get it. Yes, rocket scientists can also apply for financial positions. Pranav, again, specific details about the experience and whether it would be relevant or not. Uh, my comments here would just be, giving you hope. So as such, my comments are not going to decide whether you get it or not. So you can always shoot a mail to CFA Institute. They actually respond to these kind of mails. So if you have specific uh, question about your particular job profile, whether it would be eligible or not, just shoot them a mail. Sandesh, sure. If you want, I'll just raise your hand. I'll give you mic access. You can ask in Hindi also if you want. If you clear level 1, you can apply for job, mostly entry level jobs. So if you're someone who's graduate and you are into entry level jobs, it's definitely advisable to take up jobs after level 1. Anandhu, go ahead. You had a doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, sir. I have been working as a fixed income pricing analyst since last 2.5 years. I work into mainly into operations. So will my experience will count?
Uh, Again, my word is not a guarantee, but fixed income is a specific part of CFA curriculum itself. So there is a very high chance it would. But again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving any sort of guarantees.
Okay, cool.
All right. So that is all about the eligibility of all 3 levels. Moving on, we have some of the topics that you'll be going through, some of the subjects you'll be studying. Muneeb, no shorter alternatives of CFA. The only shorter alternative is you only give level 1 or level 2, and you can claim that. So even if you've just cleared level 1, you can add that to your resume and job profiles that you have cleared CFA level 1. So that is permissible. So that is sort of the only shorter profile or shorter version of CFA. So now, if you look carefully across all 3 levels, the broad topics are same. You'll be studying ethics, economics, equities, fixed income. But what you'll study within fixed income or equity at level 1, 2, and 3, that is going to be drastically different. For almost every topic, there are two exceptions. I'll mark them separately. But for every topic, whatever you study at level 1 is going to form a base for what you study at level 2, which means you have to make sure before starting studying for level 2 that you have proper knowledge of level 1. So at times for the exams, or often students tend to have the strategy that, okay, this topic has low weightage, I might skip it. If you skip it at next level, you'll have to study it anyways. So very important that you have a sequence. Muni, from knowledge perspective, CFA, as I said, is going to be the apex qualification. It gives you the most amount of knowledge. So you'll have to decide on those terms. So almost all topics, what you study at level 1 is going to be the introductory phase. At level 2, the primary focus is on these 4 topics, the different kind of securities that you can invest in. So if I want to invest my money in, I can buy shares, which is equity. I can buy bonds, that is fixed income. Then I can buy derivatives, futures, options, all of those securities. Or I can buy real estate properties, or I can buy something else, that is alternatives. So level 1 is mostly introductory in nature. Level 2 is heavily focused on security classes, giving you all the knowledge, all the information about different securities in which you can invest. And level 3 is portfolio management. Level 3's primary focus is for you to be able to apply all the knowledge to make a portfolio for the client. So as such, most of the topics flow through level 1, 2, and 3. The topic is same, but what you study within the topic, it gets more and more interesting as you go to level 2 and 3. The two exceptions to this rule are your topics FRA and ethics. Ethics, level 1, 2, 3. 95% of the syllabus is same, which means what you study at level 1 as it is applies at level 2 at level 3 also. So you don't have to study ethics again and again at each level. That is a good thing. In case of FRA, the syllabus by itself is very large, so they have just split it into level 1 and level 2, because testing that entire sort of content base at one single level is going to be very difficult. So as such, level 2 FRA does not require prerequisite knowledge of level 1 FRA. That is all I mean to say. So aside from FRA and ethics, every subject uses the level 1 knowledge before starting for level 2, and the same for level 2 and level 3. Normally for each level, the suggested study hours even by CF Institute is somewhere around 300 hours. But again, this is an average figure. It all depends on the student. Sometimes if you have a non-commerce background, you will have to put in a little bit extra effort at level 1 itself, because level 1 is introductory in nature. This would build your base. So a lot of students who have non-commerce backgrounds, non-finance backgrounds, they might have to study for 350, maybe 400 hours for level 1, maybe a little bit more, just to make sure the base is solid when you get to level 2 and 3. And some students who have work experience, or maybe come from CA qualifications, for them level 1 is going to feel very easy because they already have most of that base established. So for them, the study hours could be less. It could be 150, 200 hours also. So this is just a generalized figure. It all depends from one student to another. Moving along, your exam patterns. So from 2021 onwards, the exam pattern has changed to a computer-based exam. Amol, maths is not the specific focus. The focus for, let's say, the quants part, it is more focused on statistics and less so on maths. So if you had weak maths, no need to worry. Kishore, yes, CFA has specific focus on mergers and acquisitions, particularly at level 2. So in level 2 corporate finance, we do have an entire chapter dedicated to mergers and acquisitions and how we do valuations for that. So yes, we call it within the domain of corporate finance, which is a very big part of the CFA qualifications. So exam pattern from 2021 onwards, all exams are computer based. For level 2 and level 3, The CFA Institute has yet not notified what would be the exact pattern, because originally level 2 and 3 were supposed to become computer based in 2022. But due to the pandemic, they have sort of brought it 1 year earlier. So for this, we don't really have concrete details as of yet. But for level 1, we do have details. Level 1 exam is going to be scheduled 4 times a year in an exam window. So there won't be one specific day on which you give an exam. You will get a range of dates, 7 to 10 days, out of which you can pick your slot. Wherever you pick your slot, you'll have a test of 2 sessions. 2 sessions of 2 hours, 15 minutes each. 2 hours, 15 minutes each simply means you have a 15 minutes break. You basically have 2 hours of test sessions. So 2 sessions of 2 hours. So in total, 4 hours of testing time for 180 questions, split 90-90 across 2 sessions. Gautam, any doubt? I see your hand raised.
No, it's okay.
All right. The exam is purely multiple choice questions, MCQ based exam, no negatives. So there is no negative marking. Aman, go ahead. You have some doubt. Just unmute your mic.
Sir, what if our economic is weak?
Regarding jobs or something else?
Something else.
Can you elaborate a bit? Like in this topic, you're saying if economics is weak, or like in other
In this
sense?
topic.
In that case, the level 1 economics is building from your class 12th economics itself. So basics.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So all of these topics, if you have, let's say, uh, you don't have comfortable background in bonds or derivatives, no need to worry. Level 1 is all about building that base. So it doesn't matter whether you have previous issues or you have previous clarifications.
Okay.
Simran, go ahead.
Hi, sir. I
Yeah.
have a doubt over here. I have a total experience of almost 3.5 years in accounts receivables. And suppose if I clear level 1 exam, which is completely based on the basic accounts and finance, right?
Yeah.
So, if I clear level 1, then I can apply for jobs related to investment and, which are purely based on CFA level. So, is it uh, possible? Since
Yes.
I have experience of 3.5 years in accounts receivables profile.
Yeah, it still is relevant. So account receivable also comes within the domain of finance and investments, because
Yeah, right.
receivables are also part of the entire factoring industry. So as such, CFA level 1 would give you access to a lot of different jobs. Maybe you can switch to investment banking side or some other corporate finance side. So we'll discuss the job profiles in the coming slides. So I'll give you more details as we go along.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Coming back to the exam pattern. So as I said, MCQs with no negatives, 90 MCQ in each session. Each session is going to be 2 hours, 15 minutes, out of which 15 minutes is a break time. So effectively 90 questions to be solved in 2 hours. Both the sessions would happen on the same day. You'll schedule that day. It's a computer-based exam for 2021 onwards. Moving along, level 2 and level 3. The exam pattern as of yet is not notified, the exact pattern. So the expectation is that the CFA Institute will soon come up with details and give us more clarity, because earlier it used to be a case study based format where you got a big case study, 1 to 2 page, and then you got MCQ questions from it for level 2. So we are still waiting the clarification from CFA Institute as to whether that same format is going to just convert to a computer-based format, or is it going to be a different testing methodology altogether. For the exams, you have 4 dates from 2021 onwards. So level 1 will happen 4 times a year. February, May, August, and November. And level 2 for 2021 is happening in May and August, and level 3, May and November. 2022 onwards, level 1 will happen 4 times in all 4 windows. Level 2 will happen in February and August, and level 3 will happen in May and November. You can register for any window. There is just one restriction. At no point are you allowed to register for subsequent exam windows, which means, let's say you register for level 1 August. If you end up, let's say, failing the exam, hypothetically, you are not allowed to register for November immediately, not allowed. So at no point are you allowed to register for the subsequent exam. Let's say you gave exam level 1 in May and you pass the exam. Can you apply for level 2 in August? No, because August is the subsequent exam window. So at no point can you give exam in subsequent exam windows. That is not allowed. Whether you clear your previous attempts, whether you fail your previous attempts and you want to retake them, subsequent attempts are not allowed under the new computer-based testing method. Now in India, we do have almost all big cities covered for the exam centers. The exact details, CFA Institute keeps sharing them as we go along. So often for computer-based, they might expand these exam centers even further. Ruchika, whether you have studied stats previously or not, it doesn't matter. The stats that is relevant is the basic stats, mean, median, mode, all of that, something that we cover in like 6th, 7th class mathematics. There is going to be slightly advanced concepts, but those advanced ones are going to be new for everyone. They were never part of the stats that was there in like class 11th or so of school. So it's going to be all fine. Sandesh, if you want, you can ask questions in Hindi. I am fine with that. Ishita, the one thing you need for an engineering student or engineering professional to enter the CFA is you should have the interest for finance and the investments. Like if you have an interest for this industry, then it won't be any issue at all. It would be an easy transition. Sandesh, go ahead.
हेलो सर।
Yes, Sandesh.
सर मेरा अभी ग्रेजुएशन कंप्लीट हुआ है।
Okay.
और मैं लास्ट 6 ईयर से स्टॉक मार्केट में हूँ ऑलरेडी।
All right.
हाँ, तो मेरा जॉब करने का ऐसा कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, तो सीए पे मेरे लिए कुछ फायदे का बन सकता है क्या?
CFA is going to give you more knowledge, which would help you understand the markets better.
हाँ,
So
क्योंकि सब
even if you
technically-
don't do job, this is something I told to one of the students like a couple of years ago. In the very least, you will have knowledge of the market, and that is always useful. If you don't want job in finance, then also at least you'll be able to manage your own portfolio very well. So in the very least, you have better understanding of the market. You have more exposure to the market. So even if you're not interested in the jobs, CFA will still add a lot of knowledge base. Sandesh, anything else?
No sir, thank you.
All right. Passing marks. Munib, yes. From May, the next exam in November, you can apply. Geeta, for clearing CFA level 1, you get an official email from the CFA Institute, and that email serves as a sort of certificate. That email is official email from the CFA Institute, and they also give you a result declaration. That's a big PDF that you can download. So you can use that. Any other doubts you can have, you can let me know. Kishore, no age limit for level 1. So I have a few students asking for sort of what is the passing marks. As such, there is no passing marks. Rather, what you have in CFA is a sort of a cutoff system that all the students would appear for the exam, and then after the result is computed by CFA Institute, they would then decide some sort of cutoff, which is not disclosed in the public. So this is something that would be internal. And then they would create a percentile of all the people who scored above the cutoff, they all will pass. And all those who scored below the cutoff, they will be requested to appear again for the exam. So there is no passing marks. But in general, just like there was 300 hours of estimate average, the general understanding in the community is you have to be scoring about 70 to 75% or higher to have a very good chance at clearing the exam in the first attempt. Moving further, so same details as we've just discussed, you have 2022 and 2021 exams. I think we can go ahead for this. Now for study material, you get study material from the CFA Institute itself. And if you go ahead with EduPristine, you also get their material in the form of PDFs, videos on their online portals, and some question banks and lecture notes. So all of this becomes accessible to you as a sort of reference material to use for your entire exam preparation. One thing in particular that you have to be careful for is CFA exam has a restriction on what calculators you can use. Only two models, HP and Texas BA 2 Plus. The professional version is just an upgraded version of 2 Plus. So both of these work fine for CFA. The professional only has some additional functionalities which are useful for actuaries and some other qualifications, not necessarily for CFA. So make sure you get one of these calculators. If you're carrying any other calculator, they will not allow you entry into the exam. And if you don't have a calculator in the exam, you might as well just walk out of there, because there are going to be a lot of things. You have to solve 90 questions, which will have a lot of calculations in 2 hours. Without calculator, it is just not possible. And out of these two also, my suggestion would be get the Texas calculator, anyone, BA 2 Plus or 2 Plus Professional, because this is the more used calculator. So you'll have a little bit more comfortable approach with it. Like when you're sitting in the classes, or when you take the classes, often faculties and your study material will mostly be referring to this particular calculator. So you'll have a little bit more easier time with this. Geeta, doubt? I have the mic available with you.
It's clear now. I was about to asking about level 1 if I get any confirmation to use my job purpose and all.
Yeah, you get that entire result card. Yeah.
Okay.
Ruchika, go ahead. You have a doubt? I have a hand raised.
Sir, I have listened from somewhere that the CFA Institute is planning to launch CFA level 4. So is it correct, or is it?
No such thing. That was just a fake rumor that started circulating.
Okay.
CFA Institute is barely able to conduct level 1, 2, and 3 as it is. With the pandemic, the centers are already full. So I don't think there is going to be any sort of level 4. Because as someone who has cleared level 3, like in terms of what we study through level 2 and 3, I don't see what additional there is to study in the finance industry. Because the additional knowledge that you have after that point, it is mostly practical experience. There's nothing bookish to learn after what you studied at level 3. So no plan as such of level 4.
Okay, sir, there was one more question. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
सर मतलब इसमें जैसे जनरली अगर मुझे आगे स्टॉक मार्केट में जाना है तभी मैं इसे मैं अप्लाई कर सकती हूँ, या कोई और करियर अल्टरनेटिव्स है?
There are other jobs also. So I think within a few slides, we'll get to those jobs based details. So there are a lot of jobs. You can get financial analyst jobs, which can be for credit rating companies, which can be for banks. Banks have to give loans. So they often, before giving loan to companies, they analyze their financials. So they need professionals to do that analysis also. So you have multitude of jobs which are in the finance domain, not related at all to the stock market. So that is also possible.
And सर मतलब इसमें मिनिमम टाइम अगर इफ वी क्लियर ऑल द लेवल्स इन फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट देन आई थिंक मतलब मिनिमम टाइम विल बी अराउंड 1.5 year to 2 years. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct. So the minimum time, if you clear all exams in the computer base, the newer system 2021 onwards, it's going to be somewhere around 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay.
And earlier it used to be 2.5 years to 3 years. So effectively 1 year has been reduced for all of the newer students to complete the entire certification.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Coming on to the exam fees. So a few students were asking about the cost also. So for the exam fees, when you register for level 1, there is something known as a one-time enrollment fees. This is only charged once in your entire CFA journey. So you never have to pay it again, just once. So at level 1, you pay this 450 plus the exam fees for the attempt that you want to give. If you want to register for May exam, you pay for the May. If you want to register for August, you pay for August. Wherever you want to sit for the exam, for that you have to pay $700. So at level 1, effectively, you are paying $1,150. Now this 700, this is part of your early registration. So CFA Institute has two phases. One is if you register like 7 to 8 months in advance, then they charge you only $700. But if you're registering 3 to 4 months before the exam actually happens, then they charge you $1,000. So normally my suggestion would always be that if you have planned your journey, always go for this fees. This is $300 extra that you're paying for the same exam. So you're not getting like AC rooms or anything as such. This is just sort of a late registration and an early registration kind of difference. So at level 1, you will be paying this much money to the CFA Institute. At level 2, you only have to pay the exam fees. So this 450 was just a one-time charge that you have to pay once at the start of level 1. So if you, let's say someone doesn't clear the level 1 exam and you want to appear for level 1 again, you just have to pay 700 that time for the second exam attempt. That's it. This 450 will not be required to be paid from your side ever again. Just once is good enough. So you have some deadlines here, like for the May exam, the early deadline is already gone. So if you want to give exam in May now, if you register by 23rd Feb, you will have to pay $1,000 plus 450. For the August one, you still have time till 2nd Feb for the early registration and 4th May for the standard registration. You can keep checking the CFA Institute's website for more details. Now your result looks something like this. So basically all 10 topics that we looked at, all of them will have this kind of a graph given. This represents the top 10% or the 90th percentile, which means above this, only 10% people scored. This is the 50% mark. And this is the low 10%. And this entire blue box, this is going to be your score for each topic and for overall as well. So CF Institute at no point is going to tell you how many marks you scored. They are not interested in divulging any information about how many questions you got right. Rather, they are only telling you that out of all the people who sat for the exam, where exactly do you lie? Are you close to the top 10% or maybe in the top 10%? Or are you close to the 50% mark, somewhere in the average territory? Ideally, you want this to be as close to this top 10% line for your overall result. And for individual subjects also, you want this to be as high as possible. And the ideal situation is, of course, you get this in the top 10% as well. That is the best sort of result that CF Institute will tell you. Aside from this, as I said, they don't tell you anything about how many marks exactly you have scored because there is no passing marks. It's a cutoff system, so you don't have any rigid passing marks. Karan Sinha, it makes no difference. The fees is same whether you pay it from India or in US, whether you give exam here or anywhere else. The fees is globally same. Kishore, normally bottom 10% clearing the level, the chance is next to zero. that would mean that CFA Institute has cleared 95% of the people who appeared for the exam, at which point people will ask CFA Institute, why did you even conduct the exam? But if you're asking for a subject, so maybe some students might have this query that out of 10 subjects, maybe in one you have below 10%. You had really bad exam for one subject, but your overall score is still good. Can you pass? Yes. So individual subject score is not deciding whether you pass or fail. It is your total exam score that decides. So if you have one topic very bad, it doesn't mean that you can't clear the exam. So just keep that in mind. There is a myth some students have about this. So I hope that's clear now. Looking at some of the job prospects, so CFA professionals, both candidates and charter holders, these are some of the profiles and work profiles that CFAs are employed at. Before I go with it, Gautam, doubt?
Yeah, I have a question regarding the exam centers.
Yeah.
Since I am from the Bangladesh, and you have already told 10-15 minutes before that there is a lot of center in India, over the India, for the CFA exam. That means, according to you, is there a certain designated or fixed center by the CFA Institute themselves, that where if a student can give the exam from here only?
Yes. Yeah. So they will have designated centers where you will go and you will give the exam on a date that you will select out of a window of 7 to 10 days. So for Bangladesh specifically, you can check the exact centers on the CFA Institute's website. So they must have some locations in.
If not,
I don't think you will have that case that they don't have it there.
okay. Suppose if any country don't have this much of, suppose in Bangladesh is not, then I have to go to the India.
That you will have to confirm with the CFA Institute once.
Okay.
Because
that's
like logically you will be registering with a Bangladesh passport. That is your ID proof. So whether they allow giving exam in India or not, that is something you'll have to clarify. But in my opinion, there would be at least one city. So
obviously.
Earlier in India, there used to be only 4 metropolitan cities. Now they have expanded it to around 10 within the last 2 or 3 years. So they are expanding that, and with computer based, they are expanding even more, because computers based exam centers are very less, and they can accommodate less students. So there is a good chance you will have multiple centers.
And whenever if there is some designated center in Bangladesh as well as like the India, and whenever I will go for the exam from there would be additional charge except $700.
No, that 700 covers your entire exam fees. Nothing else has to be paid.
Yes,
I mean, if you want to go there and have snacks in the breaks, that you will have to pay.
That's the difference.
Yeah, but as such, nothing else is required. This 700 also includes your institute's
exam center, all cost, including all cost.
All cost plus CFA Institute's official study material in the ebook format.
Okay.
So that ebook
and ebook will be available after
the moment you register. Within 1 or 2 days, they send you a link that okay, you can access your ebooks from this particular link.
After my registration.
Yeah, after your registration.
Okay. Thank you.
Simran, go ahead. Doubts?
Yes, sir, regarding that exam fee, so suppose if hypothetically if I cannot pass the exam in first attempt, so if I appear for the second attempt, then I guess we don't have to pay the fixed charge, that is the one time charge. And for how much time it is carry forward? Hello, am I audible? Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I think my connection went or something happened there. Yeah, go ahead. What was the doubt?
Yeah, I was asking regarding that one-time fee charge, that is the registration fee. So suppose hypothetically, if I don't clear the exam in first attempt and I want to reattempt the level one exam,
Yeah.
and so I was asking for how much time it can carry forward, or
Uh,
since it is a charge,
as far as my knowledge goes, that 450 is a lifetime. So
it is for lifetime, because
yeah, it is a
I
one-time
have
charge.
checked for CA profession as well, and they carry forward the registration for only 5 years. So is it
Yes.
something the case with CFA,
No.
or?
As far as I know, there is no restriction. So
Okay.
CFA, the $450 you pay, that is just a one-time charge, which in my opinion is mostly to cover their entire online portal. Like they are creating your entire online profile, and they also have some internal job listings, and uh, job seekers can look for potential job opportunities. So they even have that entire system. So probably that 450 is mostly a one-time charge for that. No like
Yeah,
validity for that.
or
I
it
think
could
it
be the
is.
situation like if. Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it could be the situation like, suppose if I clear level one, and then I start doing my start doing job, and then I take a little gap, and then start preparing for level two. So the one time will be there, and then I have to pay for the exams only
Yeah.
anytime when I want to appear for the
Yes.
level two or three.
Yeah. In my case
Okay.
itself, like I am
Okay.
awaiting
Thank you.
charter, I have cleared all three levels, but that 450 is still applicable. Like I can still log in, and it's still going on. It's been over 6 years now. So I don't think there's any restriction. That 450 is quite literally just a one time charge.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank.
So jobs, as I said, level three portfolio management is a big focus. So investment companies and mutual funds are very big job opportunities. There is also private client wealth management. Private wealth management is sort of high net worth individuals. Some rich people want their portfolio personally managed, all of those services. Then you have brokers, dealers, investment banking services, and sell side research. For now, sell side research is something that I would just say any equity research company. You can think of that as sell side research company. Then you have institutional investment management services, your banks, your financial institutions, all of their investment operations, insurance companies, all of them. Consulting firms, then you have educational institutions and some other smaller recruiters of CFA program. Aside from this, if you look, your job profiles go in a particular pattern. So level one is mostly your entry level analysts. So it could be financial models, financial research, equity research, or credit research. All of these have analyst level jobs, which are entry level jobs for any new graduate or someone who doesn't have previous experience. At level two, mostly you are able to then specialize. As I said, level two syllabus is highly focused on securities. You get a lot of knowledge of equity, fixed income, alternatives, derivatives. So level two allows you to specialize. So earlier you might be working as just financial analyst, but now you can work into equity research roles, so that you now only want to focus on equity, or maybe you only want to focus on bonds. So those specific job opportunities become open to you as you progress further and clear your level two. And level three, as we just said, primary focus is portfolio management, wealth management, asset management operations. So level three gives you access to all of those roles, sort of the higher tier roles where you are dealing with larger clients. I'll just quickly clear some of the questions that came along. Munib, consulting would be all of those jobs where you have a client who wants some of your advice. So advice or advisory services, those are consultancies. Uh, Vignesh, no sectional cutoff, no topic wise cutoff, just an overall single cutoff. Karan, no restriction on how many attempts you take to clear the exam. So CFA Institute is fine. Kishore, whether the certification is recognized for government jobs in India or not is something you will have to check on various listings for government jobs. I'm guessing for certain specific jobs, like if you're applying for finance ministry or some other jobs, maybe they have it listed as one of the recognized ones, but I'm not 100% sure that they recognize it as one of the necessary qualifications. Is there any scholarship? Disha, yes, the CFA Institute does provide you scholarship. The exact details for that you will have to write to CFA Institute, because that is also something that they give on a case by case basis. So it's not a set rules that if you satisfy these criteria you get a scholarship. It is something that they analyze on a case by case basis. Juhi, Python and R programming language knowledge, it will give you access to slightly more advanced roles. And when I say advanced, I mean technological advanced roles. So a lot of big investment banking companies, they are now switching to AI and machine learning. So in those situations, you will be better suited than someone who doesn't have Python or R programming language experience. Now, at no point do you have to actually have so much experience that you are coding the entire program yourself. No, working knowledge is all that is necessary, because at the end of the day, your purpose as a finance professional is not to create codes and programs. Your purpose is to be able to understand the financial market, the financial environment, and to be able to communicate with the technical team which is creating the entire program. So you don't need to have so much knowledge of Python or R that you can code advanced level machine learning algorithms. Basic understanding should be good enough. Prabhat, overall score. Harinder, no limits. You can apply for same exam as many times. Anandu, go ahead. You can unmute your mic and ask.
Yeah. So if we clear all three levels, can we get into sales and trading in investment banking, or do we need a MBA from top B school?
No. Like getting a job for in the finance sector in general, it's the first job that takes a little bit of effort. After that, once you start having experience, you will be able to scale into jobs with your CFA qualification. So level 2, you will be able to take specialized jobs. Level 3, further into asset management. So it depends, like if you already have previous working experience as maybe analyst or some other role based on your level 1, level 2 qualifications, then it would be slightly easier. You might not need an MBA qualification as such.
Okay.
But sometimes there are some people who they clear all the exams, but they don't want to go through the hassle of searching the job. So they are more interested in a placement service of MBA, because MBA as such is not going to add anything over CFA in terms of your knowledge pool. So if you want to go for the placement benefit, you can go for the MBA also. It won't harm anything as such, but it's not 100% necessary that you have to have an MBA for an investment banking job.
Okay.
So all the jobs that I classified in level 1, 2, and 3, these are all the ones. So managers and associates, these are level 2, level 3 jobs. And all the analyst level jobs, those are mostly level 1 jobs. Who exactly hires? Well, you can see within India also you have accounting and auditor positions also. So those are also often where a lot of CFA professionals are working. You have chief level executives, your CFOs, consultants, corporate finance analysts, portfolio managers, relationship manager, research analyst. So a lot of jobs within India and also globally also. You do have a wide variety of jobs where CFA professionals are working. You can see some of the top employers in India as well, some of the bigger financial institutions. Lastly, let's just quickly take 5 minutes to talk about EduPristine and all the offerings that they have for your CFA journey. Current in comparison to CA, I would say CFA, if you are having logical understanding, CFA is easy. But if your logical understanding is slightly messed up, then it would be tough. Harinder, yes, graduation can be in any stream. Prabhat, not exactly. The syllabus is not necessarily like it is vast in scope, but it's not tough. It might be technical in some places, but it's not something that is difficult as such. So EduPristine is one of the approved prep providers of CFA institutes, and they are a member of a bigger conglomerate in United States at Telem Global Education, covering variety of courses across finance and all the other streams. So it's not just CFA, but a lot of other courses also. Normally, their training offers you weekend or in some cases even weekdays online classes. You again, the exact details of all that I'm going to cover now, you will have to request someone from EduPristine team to clarify if you have a doubt on that, because I'm just working here an as a visiting faculty. No restriction on how many marks you scored in graduation. So just graduate final year and completed graduation. That's only restriction. Whether you clear it borderline or you were top ranking in your college, it doesn't matter. Normally you get access to lectures. Because of pandemic, the lectures would be exactly how this seminar is, a faculty taking the class in this entire medium. And then you will have study material, question banks, recorded classes in case you miss or in case you want to revise, some mock exams, and a learning management system where you can log in, you have forums, all of those are accessible. They also provide you soft skills and placement assistance. So one of the benefits of EduPristine is they will help you in that placement. So if you want a job from CFA, you are eligible for some placement assistance from EduPristine if you register for their program. Juhi, you can give the CFA exam in third year of your graduation, provided third year is also your final year. So the restriction from CFA Institute is you have to be in final year. That's it. Aside from that, the EduPristine platform offers comprehensive content, and there are faculties, smaller batches also. Faculties are also mostly experienced ones who are working in some or the other role. And aside from that, the soft skills training would cover details like making you a little better at communication skills, uh, helping you making your resume, and some other skills that are more suited for on the job profiles. So not necessarily giving you financial knowledge, but helping you with the things that you will experience maybe for the first time if you are a fresher when you go to the job. So communications and all of that is covered under the soft skills training program. Aside from that, these are some of the companies where EduPristine has previously had placement services. They have provided placement assistance to jobs in these companies. And some of the other details. So I'll just leave you with this one. For the exact details on what all offerings there are in terms of this CFA course from EduPristine and what the fees is, all of those details, you can contact your local center coordinators. Prabhat, yes, CFA everywhere is taught from a scratch level. So level 1 itself is building a base. Level 1 assumes you have no prior knowledge and it's building a base. Kishore, that you'll have to ask from someone from the EduPristine team. So maybe they'll contact you if they see this doubt. So Kishore has the doubt that is EduPristine tied up with any corporate for a guaranteed placement after level 1? So I think this is something that someone from EduPristine would be much better equipped to answer. So that is pretty much it for the seminar. As an ending, I'll give you my contact details. So if you have any doubts about CFA program, not the EduPristine offerings, CFA program, if you have any doubt, you can message me or call me, or like just in case you want to connect professionally, you can use this contact number. My name is Shubham Goeth. I'll give you my brief introduction. I have cleared all 3 levels of CFA as of 2019, and I'm also associated with Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and I'm pursuing actuarial science with the Institute and Faculties of Actuaries in UK. Aside from that, I have been into education side for approximately 5 years, with last little over 2 years being associated with EduPristine as a visiting faculty, taking classes for both CFA level 1 and 2. I've taken approximately somewhere a little less than 300 sessions in the last 2 years, I'm sorry, covering multiple batches across multiple exam attempts. So if you have any query about CFA program that you discover later on, you can save my contact detail and you can drop me a message. Contact number is 97117 40454. Gautam, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
Are you available in WhatsApp with this number?
Yeah. You can message me.
Okay. Since I will call you from the Bangladesh, तो WhatsApp होगा तो अच्छा होगा.
Yeah. Karan, there used to be classroom training from EduPristine, but due to pandemic, mostly classes are online. But again, you can contact your local center coordinators in case they have started classes. They'll be able to give you details. So that's it from my side. Harinder, again, this is something that you will have to get the specifics from someone from the EduPristine team. They'll give you all the details of the placement assistance services that they provide. So I think they will be able to answer your question about a job after CFA course. So that's it from my side. And I hope you found the session informative. And if you have any doubts about CFA program, feel free to message me or call me, whatever you're comfortable with. That's it from my side. I'll see you later.